Hello and welcome to my channel, Mary Bourne ND, Gardening with Granny. I'd like to go over a recap of 2024 and then go on to share information about the Three Rivers Pantry Challenge, which I have been doing now. This is my, believe, third year. And I love it for a variety of reasons. So if you're here just for the challenge part, you can buzz through the first 5 or 6 minutes where I go over um, my 2024 recap. So I started my channel 10 years ago. I was surprised when I looked that up. I didn't realize it had been that long. So in 2015, I was presenting in my office live presentations about health and generally herbs and natural healing. And it was well received, but I had maybe 8, 10 people attend. They were free for a while. I tried, people said you should charge because I was giving handouts and it was costing me. So, and plus the place to have it. So, I started charging $5 a person, which is like minimal. And people were glad to pay it. But I wanted to reach more people. And so I ventured into YouTube, not knowing anything about cameras, creating video content. I knew nothing. So it was like a total emergence into this hole of YouTube. And I started with what was called an herbal hour. And this is what I did in the office. That's what my presentations were called. And they did last an hour. Well, come to find out, YouTube has what's called algorithms. And in these algorithms, you have certain parameters you have to meet. I knew nothing about this. First parameter is don't do anything over 20 minutes, preferably 10. Well, there's no way I can present what I wanted to present in 10 to 15 minutes, no less 20, usually an hour, because I wanted to be thorough. Well, apparently, they don't spread the news about your channel if you don't follow their guidelines. I thought people would just word of mouth get excited about it. Yes, I did post on Facebook that I was doing these, and for a while I had live Facebook presentations, but what I found out is that I couldn't record those, and therefore they were the property of Facebook. And if I wanted to revisit those videos, there wasn't any way for me to do that. So I cut out the Facebook videos and dove into YouTube and found out in my own discovery that gardening was a lot like human health. The health of your plants are determined by soil, healthy soil, which is in humans, the food you eat and what you give your body, the tools you give your body to work with. So I decided to create Gardening with Granny, and it became pretty popular. I enjoyed doing it. I enjoyed doing the comparison of health classes. And I soon had 30 members from 8. That was huge. Well, then came the madness of lockdowns and masks and I was no longer able to present in the office. In fact, I had a busy practice where I saw people, and I personally was against wearing masks. And according to, I work out of my son's office or my husband's office. They are both chiropractors, and COVID forced my husband to retire and for me to quit visiting with people in my office. And I did many videos about my thoughts on this pandemic. And it forced me to go a different route. It forced me to go with where the audience is, and that happens to be gardening. And so I ramped up my gardening with Granny information and started looking at where the views were. And I would say one of my most popular videos in 2024 was winter sowing, and that had 556 views. Last year, I reached 400 members. So from 35, that was pretty good. Well, it was 35 10 years ago. But then eventually I got 200 and then now 400. And as of today, I have 484. So my channel is growing, and I certainly appreciate all of the people that comment and share and like my videos. It really encourages me as a presenter. You know, all I have is my phone. All of my videos, well, most of my videos are done on my phone. I have tried doing a little sports camera. Um, I'm not really adept at it. I tried doing, a thing that flies around and takes aerial pictures. So it's like I was a disaster at that. And I finally gifted it to somebody who works with drones and is adept at it, which I'm totally not. And I got into editing. I was, again, forced into doing a different editing program. Word had a editing program that I was able to work with, and then all of a sudden they decided, they had to quit doing that. And so I had to purchase an editing program, which was a whole other new learning process. And I'm still learning. I'm learning how to put music to my videos and trying to make my videos more interesting. So those of you who have hung in there for all those years where I had very uninteresting videos, I really, really appreciate you. And I appreciate those people who are sharing and liking, because it really does help. So my most popular video in 2024 was on fermented pineapple, and I had 1,400 views on that. Wow, who knew? And next to that, it was my video on amaryllis. Um, we watched the amaryllis grow, and I kept you updated, and that was fun. And there were three particular ones that I did. And this year, I plan on uh, doing more inside garden things. I propagate geraniums because I have a particular reddish violet geranium that I really love the color of, and geraniums are expensive, so I focus on that. I will also be doing some more winter sowing videos and grocery hauls. I can't believe how popular grocery hauls are. I can get hundreds of views uh, overnight just in doing an Azure Standard grocery haul. It's not where my love is. My love is teaching about health and herbs. And this year I will celebrate my 82nd birthday. And I feel like I've got some background for teaching about health. I have had some health challenges. COVID really injured my heart, my kidneys, for a variety of reasons through the medications, through the process itself. Um, COVID was not a natural virus, and therefore, most people, their bodies had to learn about it. But because of the mask wearing and the lockdowns and all that, our bodies weren't able to gradually work toward understanding what the immune system was fighting. And there was so much bad information out there. And we are now uncovering the corruptness that took hold and has had its hold on us for 4 to 6 years. Not 46, but 4 to 6 years. Um, it's been a trial getting healthy information because most of it is censored. Um, a lot of what I wanted to say couldn't be said because of censorship. I had guidelines that I had to follow and still do. They still, uh, the information I want to hear and want to talk about is not presentable. So we have to find little ways of hiding information here and there, which is ridiculous. Come on, let's grow up here. So the pantry challenge, I am so excited to do the pantry challenge, and I love it that Jessica at Three Rivers Homestead has allowed everybody to do their own thing with some very basic rules, uh, of which, first of all, you don't want to spend thousands of dollars preparing for the challenge. That's totally not the purpose of this challenge. This challenge is all about uncovering food that would go to waste unless you used it. And in my first week of the challenge, you will see that I found some tomatoes that I had frozen from 2015. Now, a lot of people would just toss that, but I looked at it and thought, it's just the two of us. It's not poison, and it's certainly more nutrition than a canned product that would be heated to whatever canning heats it to destroy enzymes. So I took a chance and we ate it, and it was delicious, and I made a wonderful goulash with it. And so you'll see that. My goal in the pantry challenge is to rediscover what's in my refrigerator, what's in my freezers, and my storage area, and what can I move that hasn't been moved, and to do it in a timely manner. And along the way, to clean those areas. So it's kind of twofold. And the satisfaction you get from doing that is really quite amazing. I love the fact that my husband enjoys my food. And he's not really the greatest guinea pig. If I ask him to try something, he's not into it, or taste it, he's not into it. But if I put out, here's dinner, he's into it. And there's only a few times that I've put out food that he hasn't enjoyed. So my first objective was, of course, to use up the produce that I had gotten for the holidays. And the one of the first things I did was we had leftover shrimp. I had a charcuterie board and we had shrimp cocktail as part of that charcuterie board. And I don't eat cheese shrimp. I don't even like shrimp. I don't like cooking it. I don't like smelling it. But I made a shrimp fettuccine for my husband to use up the shrimp that we had left over from this cocktail because, shrimp's not cheap. And I buy wild caught, whenever possible, I buy the best. And so he had two meals of that. Now I didn't record that. Um, I don't know. I just wasn't into recording it at that time. I, my husband and I have breakfast and lunch on our own. It's not like I make it. He rarely eats lunch. He finds that if he eats lunch, he doesn't have an appetite for dinner. So he has maybe a protein drink or some little thing that he takes his supplements with at lunchtime. I do a very basic scrambled eggs, sometimes cheese, sometimes peppers, not hot. I don't do hot. If you followed this channel at all, you know I don't do hot. And uh, maybe some spinach, maybe the cheese is feta, but it's basically an omelet. Or in the wintertime, I often will have oatmeal. Um, since February of 2024, I have had challenges with my teeth. Um, when I went in to have my teeth cleaned, they discovered that I have infection under every single one of my teeth. And I will be having them removed. I'll be having major oral surgery April, beginning of April. And if you're a prayer person, I appreciate if you would send some prayers my way. Also, I'm trying very hard to just leave it up to God because I have had opposite of advice on this. My sister's totally against it. My daughter-in-law says the sooner the better. So it's very difficult when you're torn um, in so many places. And what I found is I have to put my trust in God and allow God to speak to me. And whatever his will is, that's what I will do. And hopefully the outcome is a good one. Right now, I can't chew. Most of what I eat is ground beef, ground meat, things that I can put in my mouth and soften to swallow or to drink. So even my oatmeal has to be ground so that I can eat it. It's back to baby food, basically. So it's like yogurt and applesauce. And in the very beginning, I started out in 2024 with a weight of 185. And shortly after, I would say in March, I had lost 25 pounds because the natural doctor that I went to wanted me off all grains. And she didn't want me, well, there was a whole list of things that she didn't want me eating. And I lost weight. I was losing 10 pounds a week and um, I had no energy. So I couldn't eat, like I couldn't chew any chicken. It has to be really finely chopped. And so anyway, I I have that challenge. And so the food that I eat is well chopped or ground in some way. And so a lot of my meals are ground beef. And the chicken is like, even if it's tear apart chicken, I sit there and I have to, like Thanksgiving was a riot because cutting the turkey. It took me so long. But the cranberry sauce was great. I had to have gelled cranberry sauce because I couldn't even chew the regular cranberries. So it's a challenge. I will look forward to when I can chew a salad again. And you don't realize how important chewing is until something like this happens. So my goal was to use up what I could, and I am responsible for making the turkey dressing. And I make it, I learned from my mother who made what we consider a French style turkey stuffing. And at this time that I learned it, we actually stuffed the turkey. We didn't set it aside. It was part of what made the turkey so yummy and juicy. But nowadays, it's not acceptable to put cooked meat into raw meat. So, although there are some people that are changing that, and so bread stuffing became very popular. Stovetop became, it's like that's safer. Totally not as healthy, but safer. So I make dressing. I'm responsible for gravy because my daughter-in-law doesn't do gravy, but my son loves it. So I was responsible for those. So I made a rehash of my meat stuffing with gravy and mashed potatoes, and that was another meal that we had. So the third meal, you will see videos of, and it's goulash. And I found some tomatoes from 2015. And like I said, most people wouldn't use those, but I went on to chop onions and garlic and celery and added those tomatoes with some wonderful bay leaves and some chopped meat, which I sauteed and made a really yummy goulash. Now, there is only the two of us. So even if I try to use the least amount of the recipe, it still is at least two meals for us. We are not big eaters. I'm really amazed at how much some people can eat as a serving. It would be two for us. So, and again, my husband was dealing with the fettuccine shrimp and loving it. And so I would pick at certain things. So the first week of the challenge, I only made those few meals. And the only one that you're going to actually see is the goulash. So I appreciate you being here. I hope that you glean a little bit of information, that you'll check out some of the herbal information that I've done in other videos and help bump up those numbers a little bit as far as views concerned. From what I'm getting, people are hungry for herbal and natural information. And I'm a traditional naturopath. I have a plethora of information to share with people. I am surprised at some people who will come out of a herb course, start teaching classes, and they have thousands of views. So help me spread the word. Help me share in a way that makes it easier for you, makes it engageable, if that's a word, and that you like it. So until next week, this is Mary for the health of it.